back here in Zurich at the Precious Metals Summit. It's a pleasure to be here with Canagold, the CEO of Canagold. Catalin, thank you for joining me in person.
Peter, nice to see you. It's been a pleasure to see you again. I know we've known each other for a long time.
Yes, and known you, and I also have known this company for over 20, 25 years, this project, New Polaris. So it's very exciting to be able to talk to you about it at this time, because it's a project I looked at when I just started got involved in this sector, investing into junior companies, and I'm hearing some really good news now that this project is moving forward to potentially to become a gold mine. So if you could give us a bit of update and background on New Polaris, this 1+ million ounce high grade gold deposit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, you're right. I mean, the project has been around for a long time, and people have even lost confidence it will ever get built, right? And you know, we're trying to change all that, and really the fundamental catalyst of the company happened about a year ago, a bit more than a year ago, with a large investor coming on board and providing not only the capacity funding to get a project through feasibility and permitting, but also the technical know-how on how to do it. So, you know, even though Canagold today it's relatively still a small company with a small headcount, we do have access to a team of about 70 technical people, geologists, engineers in Sun Valley's offices at literally no cost to Canagold. So, you know, we take a different approach than most juniors, and we are fortunate to be in a very unique situation than the majority of the junior companies, where we have a commitment to fund the company to achieve its objectives, which would be to put this project into a production story. It's very exciting. We've been fortunate with the support from the shareholders, and we've also been very fortunate with the response we're getting from the First Nations where the project is located. As you are probably aware, you know, really the reality of mining has changed and is changing globally. And really, it's very important to us to create a true partnership with the communities where we operate. And again, as I mentioned before, we are very fortunate to have the pleasure to build a real partnership with the TRTFM, which is the Tlingit First Nation in northern BC. They've been great to deal with. And we really want to not only create a successful project, but create legacies for the community that last hopefully way beyond the project's life.
Yes, and you're located in Canada, but pretty close to Alaska. So let's talk about the location. It's in the First Nation. So where is the location of this project?
So the project is located about 60 kilometers inland from Juno, Alaska. So it's a very remote place. Unfortunately, you know, there is really no roads to it. There's no power. And really, you have no chance of making a project there unless you can afford to pay the high costs. Luckily, the project's boasting one of the highest grade gold mines in Western Canada, roughly about 11.6 to 12 grams per ton gold. So that allows us to be able to afford the high costs associated with operating in such a remote part of the world. As I mentioned before, you know, there we are forced to generate our own power, and we are forced to rely very much heavily on air transportation. And it can only make that possible if we can, you know, have the revenue to pay for it. And the project has seen PEA in the past, which showed very robust economics. We are now working, as I said, on the actual bankable feasibility study, which shows, you know, good promise. So we believe it's going to be a great project. And as I mentioned before, we take a very different approach when we do the fees, in a way that we actually want to build the project and make it profitable. So this is the reason why, you know, we do it right, and we do it step by step, and with the view to eventually have a successful project.
And what kind of cost estimates, ballpark, from the PEA pre-feasibility?
So I think, you know, again, the PEA is called the PEA for that reason. It's a preliminary economic assessment, which, you know, it's a reality in our space. They do not represent accurate information, in my view, of the actual feasibility of the project. So, you know, PEA numbers were great, but really what we are aiming for in the fees, you know, we're aiming to keep the capital cost of the project at around $200 million, so something that's bite-sized for the current market. We're aiming to have an all-in sustaining cost somewhere between $1,000 and $1,100. We're aiming to have about a 10-year mine life based on the measured and indicated resources currently on hand, producing roughly 100,000 ounces of gold a year. So, you know, now you can make up your numbers and figure out what the project is worth. But those are attractive numbers. You know, this would be a nice medium-sized project that would generate decent economics for the project. And also to keep in mind, everybody likes to talk about upside. We do have upside. This is a typical mesothermal deposit which continues at depth. We've only scratched the surface, but that's all we care for now. If this scratch of surface is enough to have a robust project, we're great with that. Once we are in production, once we go underground, we hope and we believe that there's already indication that the project continues at depth, and maybe expand the mine from 10 to 20 years. So there's a real potential of that happening, but we're not banking on it for now.
If I recall correctly, from several years plus ago, looking at the project, there was a couple drill holes that went deep, and they had some good hits. So there's indications of
there is already indication of that, and the reason why we're not chasing it more, it's really deep, so it's very expensive. So we really don't need to, basically, because if you have a robust project with your current resource, go make money. Yeah. Let's get some cash going, and then we go after the deep part.
Is there any other things that the company is looking at right now, or is this the main focus?
Look, the fact that we're owned by a private group with cash flow, really allows us to be very much looking for things. But we have a very high bar. Everything we look at gets redone internally, right? And we look at many things and very few make it through. But that being said, we are looking and we are aiming to hopefully bring more projects that make sense on the platform if and when the time comes.
Right, so it's been quite a transformative few years at the company.
Yeah.
Really now looking now to go into production and grow it through potential other M&A. So that's quite exciting. So for investors who would like to know some more information, how do they?
Please, you can go on our website, canagoldresources.com. You have our information there. If you want to reach me, I'm happy to take your call or email. My contact information is also on the website. We welcome investors, inquiries, and we would welcome your investment if you so choose to make one.
Well, I'm a long-term investor for almost 25 years. I know time flies in this track, but really excited to see this next stage of the company going towards production. Catalin, it's really great to see you in person and catch up and share this exciting new phase for Canagold.
Thank you so much, Peter. Great to see you.
Likewise.
Okay, thank you.